Have you ever wondered if one unexpected moment could quietly change the direction of your life forever? Before you move on, stay with me for a few moments, because what you are about to hear is not presented as a random message or an ordinary reminder. It is an invitation to pause, reflect, and consider the possibility that God has been patiently guiding your steps far longer than you realize. If your heart has been searching for peace, answers, or a reason to keep believing, then listen carefully, because every word ahead is meant to encourage you to look beyond coincidence and recognize that this very moment may have arrived with a purpose. My beloved child, listen with your entire heart, because heaven is reaching toward you right now. This is not a weak whisper that can be ignored or another passing thought that will disappear by tomorrow. It is a call that has been echoing throughout your life, long before your eyes ever found these words. You are not here because you happened to scroll at the perfect time. You are here because I allowed this moment to meet you exactly when your heart needed it most. I placed it in your path as a divine appointment, a sacred interruption, and a reminder that the season you have been struggling through is beginning to change. Do not turn away from this moment, my child. If you dismiss what your spirit is finally beginning to recognize, you may overlook the encouragement I have prepared especially for you. I have watched every step you have taken, including the ones no one else noticed. I have seen the days when your heart felt unbearably heavy and the nights when your mind refused to rest. I watched every hidden tear, every silent nights when your mind refused to rest. I watched every hidden tear, every silent prayer, every question you were too afraid to speak aloud, and every lonely moment when you wondered whether I still remembered you. Yes, I remembered you through it all. Even when you believed you had been forgotten, I remained close beside you. When you thought no one was standing with you, I was protecting you. When your heart felt as though it might completely break, I was quietly holding it together with my love. You believed I was distant, but I never left your side. I have been watching over you with patience, waiting for the moment when your spirit would become ready to hear my voice again. That moment has arrived today. Something inside you can no longer remain silent beneath the weight of everything you have carried. Heaven is calling, not simply to comfort you or to warn you, but to awaken you. This is an invitation to step into the next chapter of your life. Do not convince yourself that these are only ordinary words among countless others. I am speaking directly to your heart because I know you are standing closer than ever before to a new season that you have not yet fully seen. Perhaps your heart feels different even now. Maybe there is a quiet peace, an unexpected warmth, or a deep awareness that something within you is beginning to move again. That gentle stirring is not without purpose. It is my presence reaching toward your spirit. These words have found you after the tears you cried in private, after the battles you fought without anyone noticing, and after all the moments you questioned your future, your value, and my plan for your life. None of this happened by accident. Every detail leading to this moment was known before you arrived here. I prepared the timing, the circumstances, and even the quiet moments that allowed your heart to slow down enough to listen. This message opens a door that could not have been opened before now because there were truths you were not yet ready to receive. As you continue listening, I will begin revealing why certain delays remained in your life, why some struggles lasted longer than you expected, and why wounds you believed would never heal have slowly been preparing for restoration. For far too long you have carried burdens that were never meant to rest entirely on your shoulders. You have tried to stay strong even while your spirit grew tired beneath the weight of disappointment, uncertainty, and unanswered questions. But I have not ignored your pain. I have been working quietly where your eyes could not see, arranging circumstances, protecting your future, and preparing blessings that required patience before they could safely reach your hands. If you remain open to my voice, I will help lift the burdens you have carried alone and replace confusion with understanding. My beloved child, when I call you, it is because a season is coming to its completion. You are approaching a place where the past no longer has the same power over your future. Old wounds are beginning to lose their grip, heavy chains are becoming lighter, and doors that once remained closed are preparing to open. But none of this can be fully received unless your heart is willing to listen. That is why my voice continues reaching toward you with such clarity. I have far more prepared for your future than you can presently imagine, and I do not want you to remain where fear has convinced you to stay. So receive this invitation with an open heart. Heaven is calling you today, not someday in the future when life feels easier or when you believe you have finally become worthy enough. I am calling you exactly as you are. I did not choose someone more confident, more perfect, or more certain. I chose you because I know your heart. I know your struggles, your weaknesses, your hopes, and the quiet battles you rarely speak about. Even if you have felt forgotten, exhausted, or unworthy, my love for you has never changed. Stay with me, because this moment is only the beginning, and what I am about to reveal next will help you understand why every step of your journey has been leading you here. My beloved child, open your heart even wider now, because I am still speaking directly to you. This call has never been distant or uncertain. It has echoed through every season of your life, waiting for the moment when your spirit would finally become quiet enough to recognize my voice. Even if you cannot explain what you are feeling, your soul already knows that something greater is taking place. That gentle pull within you, the unexpected peace, the deep stirring in your heart, and the sense that your life is standing at the edge of change are all reminders that I am drawing near. Do not tell yourself that this moment happened by luck or that some random event brought you here. Nothing in my kingdom is built on chance. I created the stars with purpose, formed the earth with wisdom, and breathed life into you with intention. In the same way, I arranged this meeting long before you ever reached it. I aligned moments you could not see, guided circumstances beyond your understanding, and quietly worked behind the scenes so your heart would be ready to hear me today. Even when you believed you were forgotten, I never stopped watching over you. I remained beside you through every disappointment, every unanswered question, and every lonely road you walked. There were days when you drifted away from me because pain became louder than hope, but even then I continued moving closer to you. My love never depended on your strength. It remained steady while you searched for answers you could not yet find. There were seasons when I spoke softly, yet your heart was surrounded by too much noise to recognize my voice. At other times I whispered hope into your spirit, but your wounds were so deep that believing seemed impossible. I understood every reason you struggled. I never became frustrated with your weakness, nor did I turn away because of your questions. Instead, I waited with endless patience, knowing the day would come when your heart would become tender enough to hear me again. That day has arrived. After everything you have endured, your spirit is finally awakening once more. I watched you survive storms that should have overwhelmed you. I saw you rise on mornings when your strength was gone and continue walking when your heart wanted to stop. Every silent prayer, every hidden tear, every sigh you believed no one noticed was precious to me. Nothing you experienced escaped my attention, even when it seemed as though heaven had become silent. You often wondered whether I still had a purpose for your life. You questioned whether your future had already slipped away because of your failures, delays, or disappointments. But my child, my plan for you has never been cancelled. I was never standing far away while you suffered alone. I remained closer than you could imagine, patiently preparing you for the moment when your spirit would be ready to receive what I had already planned. Something is changing in ways your physical eyes cannot yet fully understand. The atmosphere around your life is shifting. You may have noticed emotions rising unexpectedly, your heart becoming softer without explanation, or an increasing desire to seek peace instead of fear. These are not meaningless feelings. They are signs that my spirit is moving within your life, gently leading you out of an old season and into one that carries fresh hope and new purpose. I am not calling you because you have always been perfect or because your faith has never wavered. I am calling you because you belong to me. My love for you has never been based on flawless performance or perfect understanding. Your destiny still lives within the plan I prepared before you were born, and no mistake, failure, or painful chapter has been powerful enough to erase it. That is why I continue calling your name with love and patience. Your future cannot fully unfold until your heart learns to recognize my voice above every other voice competing for your attention. You do not need impressive words to answer me, nor must you prove yourself worthy before coming closer. Simply open your heart and quietly say, Lord, I am listening. That sincere willingness is enough for me to begin working in ways you cannot yet imagine. Understand this clearly, my child. I am not inviting you into fear or trying to burden you with impossible expectations. I am inviting you into a relationship built on trust, peace, and love. My purpose is not to condemn you, but to awaken the part of your heart that has been asleep beneath years of pain, disappointment, anxiety, loneliness, and confusion. The enemy has tried to bury my voice beneath fear and doubt, but my truth has always remained stronger than every lie spoken against you. I have been calling you through every season of this year. I called you during moments of joy and during moments of sorrow. I called you when you felt confident, and I continued calling when you believed your faith was fading. Today that call sounds clearer because your life has reached an important spiritual moment. The chains that have held you back are beginning to weaken. Doors you believed would never open are preparing to move. Your season is changing, and your spirit must remain awake to receive what heaven is bringing into your life. Time is moving forward, my beloved, and I do not want you to miss this opportunity. Throughout every life there are moments when heaven gently calls a soul to rise into something greater. This is one of those moments for you. The weight you have carried will not remain forever. Clarity is beginning to replace confusion, hope is replacing discouragement, and the strength you thought you had lost is quietly returning. I have waited patiently for this day, protecting you with a love that never failed, and now I am asking you once again to come closer. Stay with me, because there are deeper truths about your hidden pain, your unanswered questions, and the healing I have prepared that I will reveal next. My beloved child, come even closer now, because I want to speak to the parts of your heart that you have kept hidden from everyone else. There are wounds you rarely talk about, fears you quietly carry, and memories that still weigh heavily on your spirit. You may have learned to smile in front of others while silently fighting battles no one could see, but nothing about your pain has ever been hidden from me. I have always looked beyond the face you show the world and into the places where your heart has been crying for comfort. I remember the nights when you lay awake long after everyone else had fallen asleep. Your thoughts became louder in the silence, and your questions seemed to have no answers. You wondered why life felt so heavy, why loneliness stayed so close, and why it seemed as though no one truly understood what you were carrying. Even when you whispered your fears into the darkness, believing no one was listening, I heard every word before it ever left your lips. I saw every tear that slipped down your face, even the ones you quickly wiped away before anyone noticed. I felt the trembling in your voice when you tried to stay strong despite feeling completely exhausted inside. None of those tears were meaningless to me. Every painful moment mattered because every moment involved someone I loved deeply. You were never invisible, even when you believed the world had stopped noticing you. There were times when your pain became so overwhelming that you could not even explain what was wrong. You simply knew something inside you was hurting. You tried to push through it, distract yourself, and convince everyone that everything was fine, but the weight returned whenever life became quiet. Your sadness settled deep within your heart, and you carried it longer than anyone realized. Through every one of those moments, I remained beside you, surrounding you with a love that never disappeared. I know the fears that have followed you for years. I know the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear that you may never become enough, and the fear that your future could remain uncertain. I also know the questions you have asked yourself in silence. You wondered whether your life truly mattered, whether anyone genuinely cared, and whether my purpose for you was still alive. My child, I never stopped caring for you. I heard every question, even the ones you could not finish asking because disappointment had already filled your heart. I never grew tired of listening to your prayers, even when they sounded the same day after day. I never became impatient with your doubts or your weakness. Instead, I stayed close, carrying your burdens with compassion because my love has never depended on how strong you appeared. The weight you carried was never meant to rest entirely on your shoulders. Yet you continued giving your time, your energy, and your strength to others, even while your own heart quietly begged for rest. You kept showing kindness when you felt empty yourself. You encouraged people while hiding your own discouragement. You smiled through exhaustion because you did not want anyone to worry about you or think you were becoming a burden. But you were never a burden to me. I never expected you to carry every responsibility alone. You were never created to heal yourself without my help or to fight every battle using only your own strength. I have always desired to carry those burdens alongside you. There were moments when you believed even I had forgotten about you. You looked at unanswered prayers, closed doors, and long seasons of waiting, and you wondered if heaven had become silent. You questioned whether I had chosen someone else, whether your story no longer mattered, or whether your prayers had somehow been overlooked. But my beloved child, I never looked away from you for even a single moment. You remained at the center of my attention through every season of uncertainty. When you forced yourself to keep going even though your heart was breaking, I saw it. When you smiled so others would not ask difficult questions, I noticed. When you carried responsibilities while silently wondering if life would ever become easier, I walked beside you every step of the way. You believed you were walking alone, but my hand remained near you even when you could not feel it. My love surrounded you during every silent struggle, every hidden disappointment, and every lonely moment that seemed impossible to survive. Do you understand what that truly means? It means that when your strength was almost gone, I became the strength you could not see. When dark thoughts tried to convince you that hope was finished, I quietly placed light inside your spirit so you could continue moving forward. When fear threatened to overwhelm your heart, I limited its power so it would not completely destroy your peace. Even when lies tried to convince you that you were worthless, I protected your soul from believing them completely. I have been your protector far more often than you realize. I understood the pain you never shared with anyone else. I knew how tired you felt after carrying invisible emotional burdens day after day. Whenever you thought you were about to fall apart, I gently held your heart together. Every quiet strength that kept you moving, every unexpected moment of peace that arrived without explanation, every small reason you found to keep going, that was my hand working in your life. I also protected you from dangers you never saw. There were situations that never reached you because I stood between you and harm. There were battles taking place beyond your understanding that ended before they ever touched your life. You noticed the struggles you experienced, but you never saw the countless troubles I prevented. I defended you in silence because my love has always remained active, even when my work stayed hidden from your eyes. My beloved child, everything you have endured has prepared your heart for what comes next. Your pain has not been ignored, your tears have not been forgotten, and your future has not been abandoned. I have remained faithful through every season, and I am about to reveal why certain heartbreaks, disappointments, and delays were allowed to shape your journey instead of destroy it. Stay close, because what you are about to understand will help you see your past through the eyes of hope instead of fear. My beloved child, I know there are moments from your past that still return without warning. Certain memories continue to echo through your heart, reminding you of disappointments you never expected, relationships that ended in pain, and promises that were broken by people you trusted. You have carried those memories quietly, believing that if you ignored them long enough, they would eventually disappear. Yet every now and then they return, leaving you wondering why the hurt still feels so real. I have seen every part of that journey, and I have never looked away from your pain. Some of the deepest wounds you carry were not caused by strangers. They came from people you welcomed into your life, people whose words mattered to you and whose presence made you feel safe. Some never intended to hurt you, while others chose actions that left lasting scars. Their decisions caused you to question your own value, your worth, and whether you would ever be able to trust again. I watched every moment as it unfolded, and I remained beside you through every tear that followed. When your heart broke, you believed something inside you had been permanently lost. You smiled in front of others, hoping that time alone would repair the damage, yet deep within your soul the wound continued to ache. You wondered if you had done something wrong or if you simply were not enough to be loved the way you deserved. My child, hear me clearly. Their choices never determined your value. Their actions revealed the condition of their own hearts, not the worth that I placed within yours from the very beginning. Even while you struggled to move forward, I was quietly restoring the parts of your heart that seemed impossible to heal. Every time you believed you had reached your limit, I placed fresh strength within your spirit. Every time loneliness whispered that you would never recover, my love reminded you that your story was far from over. You may not have recognized my presence in those difficult moments, but I was gently holding together what pain tried to tear apart. There were also dreams that seemed to disappear before they could ever become reality. You prayed with hope, expecting doors to open, only to watch them remain firmly closed. You waited for answers that never seemed to arrive, and you wondered why your life appeared to stand still while everyone else continued moving forward. Those seasons tested your faith more than you ever expected. They left you asking whether I had forgotten the promises you believed I placed inside your heart. But my beloved child, every delay carried a purpose that could not be seen at the time. Closed doors were never signs of rejection. They were acts of protection. I refused to allow you to enter places that would have stolen your peace, distracted you from your calling, or delayed the greater purpose I was preparing for your future. Although you interpreted those moments as disappointments, I was arranging circumstances that would one day make complete sense when you looked back with understanding. While you believed nothing was changing, I was shaping your character in ways success alone could never accomplish. Patience was growing where frustration once lived. Wisdom was developing through experiences you wished you could avoid. Your faith was becoming stronger, even when you felt spiritually exhausted. The waiting season was never empty. It was filled with quiet preparation that would equip you for responsibilities you were not yet ready to carry. I also know how deeply tired you have become. There were mornings when you woke up already exhausted before the day had even begun. It was not simply physical fatigue. Your soul had been carrying the weight of unanswered questions, hidden fears, constant stress, loneliness, and emotional battles that no one else fully understood. You continued fulfilling your responsibilities while silently wondering how much longer you could keep going. Still, you refused to quit. Even when your heart whispered that it needed rest, you continued serving others, meeting expectations, and carrying burdens that seemed far too heavy. I heard every quiet prayer when you simply whispered, "Lord, I am tired." Those words never went unheard. I understood the weariness behind them because I had walked beside you through every difficult season. Your exhaustion has never been proof of weakness. It has simply revealed how long you have been fighting battles that would challenge anyone. That is why I am inviting you to release those burdens into my hands. You were never created to carry every responsibility alone. My desire has always been to strengthen you, restore your joy, and renew the hope that life slowly tried to take away. As your spirit continues awakening, you will begin to recognize that I have never stopped working behind the scenes. Even during seasons that appeared completely still, I was preparing opportunities, removing obstacles, and placing the right pieces together for the next chapter of your journey. You often believed you were trapped in the same cycle, facing the same struggles without making progress. Watching others move ahead made the waiting even more painful, and at times you questioned whether your own story had been forgotten. But you were never abandoned. I was building a stronger foundation beneath your life. Before I could lead you higher, I had to make certain the ground beneath your feet was secure enough to support what was coming next. What looked like delay was actually preparation. What appeared to be silence was careful planning. What felt like failure was often protection from paths that would have led you away from the future I designed for you. Every lesson, every disappointment, every unexpected pause has been woven together into a greater purpose that is now beginning to unfold. You may not have understood my timing then, but one day you will see that every season served a reason. So do not measure your life by the pace of someone else's journey. I have never compared your story to anyone else's because your calling is uniquely yours. I have continued thinking about you every single day, guiding your future with wisdom that reaches far beyond what you can presently understand. Even when my work remained hidden, it never stopped. Even when my voice became quiet, my hands remained active. Now your season is beginning to change. The foundation has been laid, the preparation is nearing completion, and the time is drawing closer for you to step into what I have been building all along. Stay with me a little longer, because there is one final truth I still want you to understand, a truth about my protection, my faithfulness, and the future that has been waiting for you since the very beginning. My beloved child, as we reach this moment, I want you to remember one truth above everything else. You were never forgotten. Every season you walked through, every battle you faced, and every moment when you questioned whether heaven was listening was seen and understood. You may not have always recognized my presence, but my love was working quietly in your life. The same hand that guided you through difficult seasons is the same hand that is now leading you toward a new beginning. You often looked at your circumstances and wondered why things were taking so long. You watched others receive answers while you continued waiting. You saw opportunities pass by, prayers remain unanswered, and dreams appear delayed. But what you considered silence was not abandonment. It was preparation. What you believed was a closed door was often my protection, keeping you away from things that would have distracted you from the purpose I prepared for your life. My child, I know waiting can be painful. I know uncertainty can make you question whether anything good is coming. But remember this, growth does not always happen in visible ways. Sometimes the greatest changes take place beneath the surface, where no one else can see. A seed grows quietly before it becomes a tree. In the same way, I was strengthening your character, increasing your wisdom, and preparing your heart for blessings that required a stronger version of you. You thought you were standing still, but you were actually being transformed. You thought nothing was happening, but heaven was moving in ways beyond your understanding. I was removing things that could not follow you into your future. I was creating space for new opportunities, new relationships, new understanding, and new strength. Every delay had a purpose. Every lesson had meaning. Every difficult chapter was preparing you for a greater story. There were moments when you felt like giving up because the road seemed too long. You wondered how much longer you would have to fight the same struggles. You questioned whether your efforts mattered and whether your prayers were making any difference. But I saw every effort you made. I saw you continue when it would have been easier to stop. I saw you choose kindness when you were hurting. I saw you keep believing even when your faith felt small. My child, that small faith was enough. You did not need perfect confidence to be loved by me. You did not need to have every answer before coming closer. I never asked you to become flawless before receiving my grace. I only asked you to open your heart and allow me to walk with you. Your weaknesses never surprised me. Your mistakes never caused me to abandon you. Your struggles never changed how deeply I care for you. Remember the moments when you believed you were alone. Remember the nights when your thoughts became overwhelming and you wondered if anyone truly understood your pain. I was there. In the quiet moments, I was there. In the unanswered questions, I was there. In the tears you hid from others, I was there. You were never carrying your burdens completely by yourself because my presence remained with you even when your emotions told you otherwise. I want you to release the fear that your best days are behind you. Do not allow your past to convince you that your future is limited. The mistakes you made do not have the final word. The rejection you experienced does not define your identity. The disappointments you endured do not determine where your story will end. Your life still carries purpose, and your journey is still being written. There is a reason your heart has continued searching. There is a reason you still desire peace, healing, and a deeper connection with God. That desire itself is evidence that your spirit has not given up. The world may have tried to make you believe that you are too damaged, too late, or too far away, but my love reaches beyond every barrier you have built. Nothing you have experienced is stronger than the restoration I can bring. Now is the time to move forward with renewed faith, not because every problem will instantly disappear, but because you no longer have to face them with the same fear you carried before. You can walk into the future knowing that you are guided, supported, and loved. The same God who carried you through yesterday will continue strengthening you for tomorrow. Take this moment to reflect on everything you have survived. Think about the challenges that once seemed impossible but are now behind you. Think about the prayers you thought would never receive an answer and the lessons you gained while waiting. Your journey has already proven that you are stronger than you believed. The fact that you are still standing is evidence that your story is not finished. My beloved child, heaven's call is not only about receiving something from God. It is also about becoming someone who reflects His love to others. The healing you experience can become hope for someone else. The wisdom you gain can become guidance for someone who is still struggling. Your testimony can become a reminder to another person that difficult seasons do not last forever. So step forward with courage. Let go of the burdens that were never meant to define you. Release the fear that has kept you from moving ahead. Trust that every chapter of your life has been seen, every prayer has been heard, and every tear has been remembered. The future ahead of you is not empty. It is filled with possibilities, growth, and opportunities to experience God's purpose more deeply. If these words have touched your heart, take a moment to reflect and pray. Ask God for wisdom, strength, and direction. Allow your faith to become stronger than your fear. Remember that transformation begins with a willing heart, and every step toward God is a step toward peace. My child, do not walk away believing that this was only another message. Carry this reminder with you. You are seen, you are loved, and you are not forgotten. The season of waiting has taught you valuable lessons, but it does not have to become your permanent place. A new chapter is beginning, and you are invited to walk into it with hope, faith, and confidence. The journey continues, but now you move forward with a different understanding. You know that every struggle had meaning, every delay had purpose, and every moment of silence was never proof that God had left. He was working, preparing, and guiding you all along. Keep your heart open, keep your faith alive, and remember that the voice calling you today is the same voice that has been with you since the beginning.